You are on a straw mat behind the kitchens, sweating, crying, and then smiling
Is the baby
because you
safe?
just gave birth. A healthy girl, your daughter. You press her against your chest, and she latches like she already knows this world is hungry. For 1 hour, you're only a mother. Then the overseer's sandals hit the stone floor. He looks at your milk-heavy chest the way a man checks a cartwheel before a long trip. He says, "Good, full. The dominor's son needs feeding by morning." You say, "She's mine. She was born an hour ago." He shrugs. "You're a slave. Nothing here is yours." Because in Rome, wealthy households didn't want their own women nursing. It was seen as old-fashioned, beneath their status. So they bought or bred women for milk. You are a nutrix now, not a mother. A vessel. By dawn, they carry you into the domus. Marble floors colder than the ground you slept on. A fountain hisses in the atrium. The domina, wrapped in silk, doesn't look at your face, only your chest. She says, "This one. Strong stock." Her husband, the dominus, circles you once, arms crossed. He says, "Contract her at the standard rate. Nutritia, but don't tell her the sum." You ask, "What about my daughter?" The domina waves a hand like she's brushing off a fly. "Leave the whelp with the porter's wife. If she lives, she lives." You are given a room the size of a closet, beside the kitchen, so you're always close to the crying. The dominus's newborn son is placed in your arms. He is pink, plump, wrapped in wool, softer than anything you've ever touched. You feed him. Hours pass. Your body remembers what it's for, even when your heart refuses. That night, you beg the porter's wife for news. She says, "Your girl won't stop crying. No milk here for her." You say, "Then let me go to her, even an hour." The overseer, listening from the doorway, says flatly, "The master's son doesn't wait. You are led back before you've even sat down." Day 3. Your daughter is fed watered barley gruel because there's nothing else. Day 5, she's thinner. Day 7, the porter's wife won't meet your eyes anymore. You keep feeding the dominus's son. He grows fat, laughing, gripping your finger with a strength that isn't his. It's yours, drained out of you and poured into someone else's blood. The domina inspects you weekly, the way a farmer checks a cow. She squeezes, watches your face for pain, ignores it. "Still strong," she says once. Another time, "Thinner than last week. Eat more bread, less water." You say, "I need to see my daughter." She says, "You need to keep my son alive. Everything else is noise." One evening, the dominus stays late in the kitchen wing, wine-flushed, watching you undress the baby for a change of cloth. He says, "You're better fed than the field girls." You say nothing. He steps closer. "A woman built like this shouldn't waste her nights alone." You back toward the wall. There is nowhere else to go. What happens after is a bruise you carry inside your ribs. The script gives it no more words than that, because some silences are the only mercy left. You tell no one. There is no one to tell. Weeks later, the porter's wife finally looks at you. She says, "Your girl stopped crying 2 nights ago." You ask, "Is she sleeping?" The woman's silence answers before her mouth does. "She's with the gods now. Fever or hunger. No one wrote it down." You do not scream. Screaming is a luxury owned by free women. You simply go still, the way a lamp goes still after the last of the oil burns off. You still feed the dominus's son the next morning. Your hands do it without asking your permission. Guilt sits on your chest, heavier than the child himself. Every mouthful he takes is a mouthful your daughter never got. Months pass. The boy grows healthy, walking, laughing in the courtyard, calling another woman mother without knowing your name. You are only ever nutrix to him, furniture with a heartbeat. Then the fevers come, not to him, but through the household, sweeping the kitchen slaves first, as fevers always take the poor before the rich notice. 3 servants die in a week. The domina, terrified for her son, orders you moved further away, in case the sickness lives in your milk. You say, "Milk doesn't carry fever." She says, "You don't get to know that, you get to obey it." You're quarantined in a shed meant for the geese. Straw for a bed, a single jug of water, no fire. On the 3rd night alone, you finally let yourself cry. Not for the beatings, not for the dominus, not even for yourself. Only for the small weight you held for 1 hour on the day she was born, before the world decided she belonged to no one. The overseer finds you 2 mornings later, half-conscious, milk long since dried from grief and starvation. He doesn't call a physician, he calls the market broker. "This one's spent. Sell her before she costs us more than she's worth." You are led out through the same gate you entered, no longer useful, no longer even a vessel, simply used up. At the slave block, a new buyer inspects your teeth, your hands, your back for scars, the way the domina once inspected your chest. He asks the broker, "Any children?" The broker checks a wax tablet. 1. Deceased. The buyer nods, satisfied, as if that makes you cheaper to bruise. You are led away into another house, another kitchen, another child that isn't yours to keep. Somewhere behind you, the dominus's son grows into a man who will one day tell his own children a story about a kind old nurse who fed him as a baby, and he will never once say your name, because he never learned it. You were never a person to this house. You were only ever the milk.